Okay, well, here we are. I'm on Burgos Road. I met a new friend of mine, Peter, and it turns out Peter is from the high desert in California, Apple Valley specifically. Which, when he asked me, he goes, "Hey, where are you from?" I go, "San Bernardino," because when we started talking about what states, and it turns out he goes, "Oh, Apple Valley." I go, "Well, hell," I go, "Then you know Victorville." And wait till you hear this gentleman's story. And I'm going to ask him a couple questions, and this stuff we already kind of talked about, but I found it so fascinating, I had to kind of go back. So for those out in the high desert area, everyone knows the Draper. It's legend. It's a landmark. This young man actually did the carpentry work on there. So Peter, if you can, just give a little background on that and how he got hired on there. And
there's some guys that had actually started the building, and then over the course of the years living in Apple Valley, I knew Dan and Bobby Draper. Mm-hmm. So I ended up going up there and with a few fellas and ended up finishing the building.
I'll be damned. And now he was there when they were putting the rock walls in.
Yeah, the rock walls are they actually used to be stalactites on the ceiling in the front section of like the guy that actually built the place originally, the designer's name was Mike Showers, and he'd done several bars around Apple Valley, Victorville, Hesperia. Quite the character. You can still find it. Still lives in the high desert.
Wow.
Mike and Carol Showers, longtime friend. Anyway, all in all, the building come out great. My knuckle prints are somewhere still in the wall there when the cement was wet. I decided to leave an imprint there to last forever, at least until it gets torn down. I don't think the family owns it more. Unfortunately, Bobby and Dan both got older, and the family all went their separate ways.
Wow. And I'm going to tell you, Peter was good enough to tell me, he was there during the 80s, and he was explaining how, hey, that high desert was like the Wild West up there.
Wild West, there was the most famous cowboy in the world lived there at that time, Roy Rogers.
Yes, sir.
I was actually working for his son, Dusty Rogers, for a couple of years, doing carpentry work. Got to know Roy Rogers, the family, the whole lot. Did some work on the museum in Victorville, which eventually moved to Branson, Missouri.
Okay. Hey, I didn't know. I knew they shut it down. I didn't know they moved it to Branson. That's interesting.
Yeah, there was a builder, one of the good friends that him and Dustin's son ended up taking it to Branson. And since then, I know it closed in Branson because I think it was the amount of people that actually, as people got older, the older people died off, and people didn't know who Roy Rogers was.
Yeah. And then one of the things Peter told me about, the hills have eyes. That was
filmed up in the cemetery in Apple Valley, up in the offhand I can't remember Granite Hills, something like that cemetery, owned by Chet Hitt, and his brother Chris Hitt owns the biggest plumbing company in Apple Valley, Hitt Plumbing.
What's his name again?
Chris Hitt.
Chris Hitt?
Chris Hitt, Hitt Plumbing Company.
Hitt, okay, all right.
If you live in the high desert, you'll see the trucks, the blue, two-ton blue trucks all over the desert.
I'll be damned.
With the toilet on the side.
How about that? And he started giving me the history of Charlie Manson, because I asked him, I go, I heard there was hot springs out there in Apple Valley, and he goes, yeah, off a Deep Creek Road. And then, Peter, if you could just kind of relay that.
From what I heard, above the hot springs is in Deep Creek is a ranch called Bowen Ranch. It was owned by the Bowen brothers. And over the course of the years doing work in Hollywood and what have you, everyone was familiar with the Bowen Ranch and the Bowen brothers.
Yes, sir.
Now, apparently, from what I understand, is at some point in time, Charlie Manson hung out there. So, and not too hard to believe because I've actually, from what people said, I met this person who was in a bar, like one of the wild bars one night in Apple Valley, California, in the shack, which no longer exists. But I ran into a guy who was apparently one of the Manson clan.
Manson crew, huh?
That's it, the crew, right? The clan, I think, which was, the guy was a tiny, small guy with a swastika on his head, but quite intimidating to look at.
So, yeah, you know, one of the social pillars, you know,
yes.
they say. But Peter, I thank you so much for your taking the time out to share
Anybody
that
can
story.
see this in Apple Valley, Aussie Pete. I've got old. I
Yeah.
was a young terror. Used to ride around on my Harley when I was younger, like with my hair blowing in the wind. If I look familiar, it's me. And if I've done any harm to you when I was younger, I apologize. If you do get back to Apple Valley and you do go to Froggy's,
Yes.
please show this to the bartenders, the owners. So enjoy.
What I'll do is,
If you're there, hey girl.
what I'll do is I'll try and send messages to someone that's out in Apple Valley,
Yeah.
and I'll have them refer to this tape on YouTube,
Beautiful.
and then hopefully maybe
Cheers,
if I.
girls. Thanks for everything, for being such good friends.
All right, brother. I appreciate you.